Hi everyone, my name is Melanie Vasquez and we're the Sugar. We are going to present a revolutionary novel based on real events, where four little women are the protagonists. This novel, called Little Woman, or in Spanish known as Mujercitas, it is considered an autobiography book. Sister with Page, the author, Luisa Miguelco, tells us some of her own childhood, which have made possible that this masterpiece continue to touch the heart of thousands of people until our days. Little Woman is set in the context of the Civil War that took place in the United States between 1861 and 1865. During this time, men had to take up arms and they have to live alone their families without knowing if they will ever come back home. Because of these situations, many women have to oversee their homes, that something that was not common. This history is about four young sisters. We have Meg, Jo, Beth, and Emmy, each one with different inspiration in life and particular skills. These little women are strong, resilient, and brave. And throughout the novel, we get to know their lives and the adventures they've been through. They teach us how hard life was as a low-income woman in a sexist era and how few possibilities they have to fend for themselves. Fortunately, their future lives will depend entirely on what kind of man they married to, on how wealthy he was, what was his social status, and other, but not all of them were willing to continue with this stereotype. This little woman will seek to be happy, but each one has a different concept of the word happiness.
In this play, we had someone who stands out for her character and courage. This person is called March. She is the second sister of this clan of little women. She grew up with the mentality that she was the future of her family. She worked from a very young age and always made many sacrifices so that neither she nor her sister would go through any need. Being independent from a very young age, Jo learned about the sacrifices. She would have to make all her life to have a good future, and that meant only one thing back then. She worked hard for many years, writing and writing many stories to be able to sell them and make a living, because her dream was to be a great writer. You may wonder, has this girl never fallen in love? The answer is yes. Well, here comes Laurie, a family friend since he was very little, and Joe's best friend. As time when he fell in love with Jo, as they spent a lot of time together, and it was impossible to ignore a woman like Jo, as she was very intelligent and ambitious, which was not common at the time. But Jo had goals which she wouldn't reach until she achieved them. She fell in love, but she didn't accept her feelings. She believed that she had a good future ahead of her, thus feeling good at some point distracted her from her goal. So she continued with her life, and that led to her rejecting Laurie's marriage proposal. She was clear at some point her sacrifices were going to be worth it.
Meg and Joe are invited to attend a New Year's party at the home of Meg's wealthy friend, Sally Gardiner. At the party, Joe retreats to an alcove, and there she meets Laurie, the boy who lives with Mr. Lawrence. Sadly, while dancing, Meg sprains her ankle. Because of this, Laurie escorts the sister home. After that, the Marches regret having to return to their daily routine after the holiday festivities, as many of us, I think. After a while, Joe visits Laurie when he's sick, and there she meets his grandfather, Mr. Lawrence, Without noticing it, she insults a painting of Mr. Lawrence in front of the man himself. Luckily for her, Mr. Lawrence admires Joe's courage and they become good friends. Soon after that, Mr. Lawrence meets all the sisters and Beth becomes his special favorite. Because of this, he gives her his deceased granddaughter's piano. However, one dark day, the family receives a telegram saying that Mr. March, his father, is sick in a hospital in Washington, D.C. Marmee, the mother, goes to tend to him and Joe sells her hair to help finance the trip. Because of this, the girls neglect their chores. Only Beth goes to visit the homeless, a poor family, and after one of her visits, she contracts scarlet fever from the baby of the family. Meanwhile, Amy spends time at Aunt March's house in order to escape the disease. Beth recovers, though not completely, and Mr. Brooke, Laurie's tutor, falls in love with Meg. But Joe is not agree with their relationship. The time passes, and Mr. Brooke and Meg get engaged. Joe begins to think that Beth loves Laurie. In order to escape Laurie's affection for her, Joe moves to New York so as to give Beth a chance to win his love. There, Joe meets Professor Bayer, a poor German language instructor. He discourages Joe from writing sensationalist stories, and she takes his advice and finds a simpler writing style. When Joe returns home, Laurie proposes to her, but she turns him down. Sadly, Beth dies.
Laurie and Amy spend more and more time together, and in the end, they get engaged. After that, Joe meets with Mr. Bayer again, who declares his feelings towards her. Finally, Aunt March dies, and Joe inherits her aunt's big house and decides to turn the place into an orphanage school. 5 years later, the family reunites in Plainfield to celebrate Marmee's birthday. There, the little women remember the dreams they had and analyze if they got to accomplish them. Even though their lives turned out different from what they ever imagined, they are happy to be loved and being with their beloved ones. The knowledge we have about these four sisters and their experiences during the timeline of the book give us a lot to think about, like their ability to stay together using the fraternal love that they feel for each other and the mutual respect. Also, it shows the importance of following our dreams, developing our personal identity, and also fighting for gender equality. Through the March Sisters story, the writer invites us to reflect about values such as generosity, honesty, and compassion. In summary, Little Women is an enriching work that highlights the determination and perseverance of its protagonists, who fight for what matters to them and their aspirations, challenging the gender stereotypes of that time with love, personal improvement, and empowerment. Finally, we can say that the March Sisters' transition in life through the book only shows us that despite the pain one feels, life goes on even after a tragic loss. That would be all for today. I hope you've enjoyed the presentation. Thank you for your time.